Hi.
Hello, how are you?
Hold on.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay, now I can hear you. I had a little, sorry.
that's
I had a
okay.
little I have a microphone. Well, again, I thought that would sound better, but I feel like I couldn't hear you with it in.
Okay, we good now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Hi, you look amazing.
Hi,
I
how
love
are
your
you?
hair.
Oh, thank you. So impromptu, my mom just called me and was like, "Do you want to do a date night with your husband?" And I was like, "Yes."
Oh my
So
God.
I'm like, "Okay, I'll throw my hair together. Look good."
There you go. I love it. That's amazing. So good. Okay. So I wanted to bring you on the podcast because man, oh man, Brie, like you're literally such an incredible human being. Like you came into the academy, you're such an action taker. You're truly wanting to do things so sustainably for the long run to finally get out of the diet binge cycle. And I just have to share my podcast listeners with you because you're just going to give so many women listening to this hope and like just even like seeing what's possible, because it's one thing to hear from me and then it's another to hear from somebody who's like actually going through this process. So just like thank you for
Yeah.
coming on. I'm excited to dive into everything.
I would love to give, because if I could hear, like when I would listen to your podcast before I was ready to like fully commit, and then like this just seems like it's so legitimate, but it's like sometimes you just need, you hear a story and you're like, okay, like I'm in. Like I
Yeah.
had my husband listen to one of your podcasts. He's like, I understand like why you're so connected to like this. He goes, this is everything like you are for sure. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, I think
I
it's so
love that.
helpful to get people to change their life.
Absolutely. So prior to the academy, what was your relationship with food looking like? Like, take us back, like what you were specifically struggling with, what was kind of going on prior to jumping into the academy?
So, well, before I did the academy for 6 months, I'd been listening to your podcast. I found you in like December before I joined the academy in May, or November. And I had been told before, like, so I've struggled with binge eating for 22 years, since I was 12 years old. And it was always, it was from, being called overweight and teased in throughout school and my life. So then I became obsessed with dieting and exercising. And then I lost a ton of weight when I was like 24 for my wedding. And I finally thought I had control, but I was obsessed with it. And then after my wedding and stuff, like things started to like binging would creep back in. Like I thought I had it under control. Like, okay, I got this. Like I have the body I want. I get all the compliments. It was great. But it just was in my mind 24/7 and it controlled me. And and so then I had my two kids and I jumped right back in. I remember like 5 days postpartum, thinking about what I'm eating and dieting, like how terrible. And so I would get my body back and everyone would compliment me and it would be like a high, like, oh, gotta keep this up. Like, I love this. I love this attention. I was always made fun of. And now like people are complimenting my figure. But it would be this diet binge cycle. It'd be like dieting, and it was always like, oh, I'm gonna restart on Monday. And like I would do, like I have to have lean protein and vegetables and work out and be really, really good and be obsessed about what I ate all week. And then I'd be like super excited for Friday. Okay, like I'm gonna let loose a little bit. And it would like, and I couldn't just like let loose a little bit. Like it would be overkill. And sometimes it would just be like a lot of overeating, social events and whatnot. But then other times, like it would be just like I'm alone and I feel so disappointed that like I let myself go and oh my gosh, I'm gonna gain this weight. And then it would be these crazy binge cycles of consuming thousands of calories in minutes for a temporary high and then feeling so low and just sick to my stomach, unable to take care of my kids, like irritable, cranky towards my husband and my kids. And honestly, that had gone on a lot even throughout like high school and college too. So it would just at different stages of my life, I would have more control. And then honestly, like since I was 24 until now, so like 10 years, I had a hold on it, I felt like. And then I, and then I feel like I don't know where I was going with that. Like I felt like it was under control because like my weight was staying, like I would fluctuate here and there, but my figure like
Yep.
stayed the same. So it's like high, like no one knew. And I would
Yeah.
like blog about like balancing food. I had like a food blog and fitness and all that. And everyone would ask me advice. And I kind of, like you said, like felt like a fraud.
Yeah.
And I was like, when am I gonna get control over this? So fast forward, um, I I wanted to intuitive eat because I had therapists and dietitians throughout my life, and they'd be like, you just need to like eat intuitively, but would not give me any further information on it. Maybe they didn't know about it or what it was. And also had said binge eating is something you struggle with. Maybe for a lot of people will struggle with it for their life. And there's not as much research as anorexia or bulimia and all that. And I had been diagnosed with binge eating in like high school when I was 18, but there really wasn't. It's like, okay, let's see a nutritionist and a therapist. And even you had said, and I connected so much on it, like, okay, like, can you have like a code word? Can you call your best friend? And because she knew about it, and it just like, no, like I can't fight it. And even my husband would try and help me, and I'm like, I can't fight this. I don't, and I'm trying so hard. And so I tried eating intuitively, and it was a great your class, and it was great. But I felt like I went through this whole like food freedom, which you've talked about, that messy middle, where then it kind of like I let all food rules go. I also got like in the middle of the class, like I got pregnant with my third. I'm due in 4 weeks now. Um, and so that was hard too with like all those restrictions. So I don't know if that set me back, and morning sickness and just wanting to like carbo load and then feeling guilty. And so I had wanted to join for a while, but I was like, do I, as so many of us who struggle with this, I'm going to come to my husband, this is a decision we make together as a household, like here's another thing. He's going to think it's just like some diet plan, some gimmick, something that's not going to work. And I'm like, I just felt it in my bones. Like I needed like your full support. And like I was like, Lorna's like, I just feel it. Like this is genuinely it. And so I just poured it all out there for my husband. I could like cry. Um, and he's like, no, you're not alone. We can do this. Like, I told him, I'm like, we need to treat this almost like a rehab for addiction. I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional. And so, and then I joined the program later that week, and I started on Monday, like it was Memorial Day here in the US. And so it's been 5 weeks, almost six, and I haven't binged. I hardly overeat. Um, and I feel like I have my life back already in 5 weeks. And I know I have like in being in the academy, I still have like 3 months to go. And obviously I'm gonna get a curveball thrown at me when I have a baby, third child in 4 weeks, but I feel so strong. And I had asked you, should I wait? And I'm so glad you told me you had other clients who had done this like before they had their baby in the middle of their pregnancy. I am so happy. I feel so much better. I have more energy, can you imagine, in my third trimester than I did in my first and second, because I am not binging, because I know how to nourish my body. I have health and fitness goals. I eat healthy because I enjoy it. And then but I also get to indulge like when I want to, like pasta last night. I told you I've been making sourdough like a crazy lady, and it's all around me, and it doesn't affect me. It doesn't have a control over me in 5 weeks. Because too, I like you said, I'm all in. I'm like, this is now or never.
Yeah.
And I'm going in strong, maybe because I know my baby's coming too, and like the clock is ticking. But yeah, I'm just shocked at it. I tell everyone, like I'm very open, and I tell like family and friends, I'm like, I'm a different person, and it's helped in my parenting.
Yeah.
So
And like
sorry, I just went on the longest tangent.
it's all good, but it's like I'm like not even shocked because I remember even messaging you and you were asking like, should I do the membership? Should I do the academy? And it's like there's just some people that I just know they're going to go so far in this program. Like there's certain people I can just feel energetically that they're ready to go all in. Like with like the words that you were using, I'm like, girlfriend, I'm like, you need to be in the academy because you're an action taker. Like, you are serious, you are committed. I'm like, you got to go to the top. And I'm not shocked that you haven't binged. Like, I'm not shocked because you actually are using the tools. You're coming on the coaching calls, you're leaning into the support, you're celebrating your wins. You're not just like, you sign up for a program and you're not showing up. Like, you're really committed. And I also think too, like, you're staying on your path. Because I remember even you saying like a few weeks ago or whatever, there was, a lot of diet culture talk, and that's inevitable, right? When you're doing this and
Right.
you're healing your relationship with food, there's always going to be, noise in the back of your mind, and you're not letting anything or anyone stop you. Like, you're just so committed. It's like your foot is on the gas pedal and you're just like going for it.
Yeah, for sure. And it's been amazing. And I encourage anyone too to like try you have so many different tools and there's so many tips, and not everything's going to be for everyone. Even like some of the stuff I'm like, I think it was about emotional eating in one of your modules, and it was like about like talking to your inner child. And I was actually doing that meditation this morning, and I'm like, oh, I know like what I feel like I needed in my childhood and what was missing and what I had a great childhood. But actually doing the meditation, I'm like, wow, okay, like, so just something I would be like, no, that's silly, that's not for me. And then you realize how it helps. Or like I told you, the reverse engineering, and I'm like, I know like what I want to believe and about myself. And it's like you have to say it out loud.
Yeah.
You have to, and think
Yeah.
through it.
So you've done the therapist and the nutritionist stuff. So with
Yeah.
my process of like rewiring your brain and like actually getting to the root of things, like what makes the academy so different than like anything else that you've really tried in the past?
Well, first and foremost, you are the first person that I have ever met that has gone through this and has come out on the other end. And and really the first person I met who's talked about this, even, whether they're healed or not. And so you are such like proof of that. And so that gives me so much confidence. And then I'm somebody who's like, whatever it's in my life, like I need to ask questions. I'm curious, I analyze a lot. And so being able to have that one-on-one, or, when we do like our very small group in our Zoom calls, our coaching calls weekly, like, and being able to message you in Slack and ask you, okay, like, is this normal that I'm having this thought? And so and it's someone who's overcome it. Yes, this is 100% normal. And to hear you say, I went through this, I went through the messy stage. Cause, I know we're, often we compare and we're like, is it, like, and everyone's journey is different. But to hear you're like, no, this is normal. Then you're like, okay, I can stay the path. Versus working with someone like a therapist or a dietitian, which first of all, I don't want to work with a dietitian because like we want to eat intuitively and listen to our body, and a therapist, like they don't know, like they haven't gone through it necessarily. For all I know, my therapist could be dealing with this and they don't know, you
Yeah.
know? Um, so yeah, and I had seen, and I'll add too, because I'm sure there's a lot of people who will be listening, that I also saw a psychiatrist 2 years ago for anxiety. And she had told me that like a lot of people, I had gone on like a generic version of Prozac, and she said a lot of people like use this for binge eating too. And I'm thinking maybe this will save me. Okay. Like a year went by. I felt like calm about certain things. It didn't fix it. I'm off of it now. And it's so funny because I'm able to be like so calm. I was also like working with that the therapist and the psychiatrist on trying to be like calmer with my kids and having, just more like my self-esteem and working on all that. And all the things you're teaching about future pacing, journaling, the meditation, all of this stuff, it is so powerful. And I felt like I wasn't getting those tools before. Felt like a lot in therapy, and every therapist is different. I was talking a lot. Maybe I just talk versus like getting useful tools.
Yeah.
And then also in the academy, I didn't think I don't, Lorna, you would say this on your trainings, or like your podcast before I joined the academy, like the group, like just the community.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't need that. I don't need that. I wasn't like I was embarrassed. I'll tell anybody, whatever. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I so need it. And I love to pour into the other women. I feel like I'm always answering them, and everyone could do what they want. But I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I connect to, I'm like, okay, so I have that issue too, or I did this, or whatever it is. And then just like yesterday when I had like a tough moment but overcame an urge, and then I went before bed, I'm like, I'm gonna write this to the group, and I woke up to so much support, and it just like it keeps you going.
Yes. Yes. I always say it like keeps you in momentum to feel celebrated, but also to like celebrate other people. Like it just makes
Yes.
it makes you feel so good that like number one, you're not alone, but like also this person has been experiencing these wins. Like I can freaking do it as well too. And that's everything, you know?
Yeah.
So something that I've seen you do really well is stopping when you're full and listening to your body. So what do you feel has been like the biggest game changer? Like what has really been helping you pay attention to your body, not eat past fullness? Like what are like the golden nuggets you feel has been like most helpful for you?
So releasing food rules, and really releasing food rules, because I think when I did intuitive eating and I didn't have that like more connection to you where I could ask more questions, I had food restrictions still. I still was saying I shouldn't eat this. Like, oh, I'm gonna let myself have more stuff and release the rules, but really they were in the back of my mind. So knowing that I can have, like you said, you can eat in 10 minutes. You want to make a small plate and eat a little bit and you want seconds, then go if and have seconds. Or if you're full, then you could come back 10, 20, 30, whatever it is. Like the kitchen's not closed. Knowing that it and like I could have like it's nothing's off limits. And then those foods, like, and you just have to trust the process, because you would say like those foods will start to like not be as like, whether it's appetizing or just like so like you put them on a pedestal, like
Yep.
desserts always go on a pedestal, right?
Yeah.
And so just knowing that I could have it if I wanted to.
Yeah.
And then also just saying, how do I want to feel? I'm getting so in touch with how do I want to feel. And obviously like I can eat, I have to eat a lot smaller with pregnancy. Like I just get full so fast. And like, how do I want to feel? I don't want to feel lethargic and cranky and bloated. It's like, I just want to feel good. And
Yeah.
I always wanted to feel good, but it was like I felt hopeless because when I wasn't in this academy and I didn't trust that I could heal myself, so I would console myself with food.
Yeah. Yeah. So common. And even now it's like, you know, you're making your sourdough like bread and like that's out of a place of self-love. Like I feel like working together with you for the past month, what I've seen is like you are pouring so much more self-love into yourself, like so much more respect. Like you said, you went to the Italian restaurant and there was bread there. Not that you can't eat it, but it's like I also don't want to feel bloated. And I make my own bread, which actually tastes really good. And you know, something that you really also want to work on is like still being able to have health and fitness goals and take good care of your gut and your hormones and all those things. And you don't have to do one or the other. It's like, no, you can have a good relationship with food and also feel really incredible in your own skin when you get rid of the food rules in your mind, which is exactly what you've been able to do.
Yeah. I mean, just an example, absolute true story. Yesterday, first of all, I'm such a foodie. I'm so passionate. I went to pastry school, I went to hospitality business school, and I grew up in a big Italian family. So we love food and I love to cook. And I kind of thought I have to give up this career because I don't want to gain a bunch of weight and I don't have control around this stuff, even sweet, savory, whatever it is. Like I just told my husband, I feel like I'm a cooking machine all of a sudden, and not like I'm cooking it and then like stuffing my face with it. I'm around it. So yesterday I made 2 loaves of like sandwich bread for, and a lot of times I use it for my kids and freeze it. A dozen bagels, 2 loaves of regular sourdough because I feel like I'm nesting and stocking my freezer.
Yeah.
And then I made us like a homemade pesto bolognese pasta. All of that around me, okay? Someone with binging issues, I probably would have gorged myself with all of it. I didn't touch a bagel until I was like, oh, I'm gonna have that for breakfast tomorrow. That sounds good. Didn't touch the bread because I had already had like toast earlier in the day and I knew I could have it. But I was
Yeah.
like, I can't wait for this pasta. I wasn't like, oh, you had bread in the morning, so you can't have pasta. It was all around me, and I was able to eat my pasta till comfortably full. It was so satisfying. I used to not eat pesto because it's got too much fat in it in my diet culture mind. And I feel so good. Like I don't feel like snacking on everything around me. It's like it's just because the food rules. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't need to tell you, I'm
Yeah.
telling all of you out there, it's good.
Yeah. But it's so
It's
funny
so
because,
free.
and like you said, sometimes you can think I've released my food rules, but there are so many sneaky, even like mental restriction, like there's so many sneaky ones that like I can like point it out in a minute. Like I remember even once you were like, you had a social event to go through to, I think it was like your daughter's, school or something. And you were,
Mhm.
mentioning about like how, like, should I look at the menu ahead of time or like, should I pre-plan? And I was like, this is where we gotta just trust yourself, like trust that like you can make the best decision for yourself in the moment. And that's what you did. Like you don't need to fear food, have these food rules, look at the menu ahead of time. Like you truly can trust yourself. It's a decision to actually just believe I can. Because if you constantly tell yourself like, I can't trust myself, I can't bake, I can't make bread, I can't have these foods in the house, and you're never going to actually try. And you just like went for it. You're like, this is what I want. So I'm not going to wait until I feel good with food. Like I'm going to start taking action now. I'm going to start making these foods, baking or going to the restaurant without looking at the menu, because that's how you actually build up that self-trust.
Yeah. Well, in speaking of self-trust, something that you have said a lot is like, it's not about keeping the chocolate out of the house. And that's what I kept in my mind. I'm like, I don't want the stuff out of the house. Because even growing up, when I went on Weight Watchers at 12 years old. My mom was like, I cried to my mom, and my mom didn't know how to help me. And she's like, maybe we can do this together in a loving way.
Yeah.
And so that's when I started. So like then I would go to a friend's house who had every delicious snack under the sun. And that's where binging would start, like at 12 years old. And
Mhm.
so I'm like, no, I want this in the house. And I'm baking. And my kids have a lot of their fun snacks. We have like so much ice cream in the fridge that I used to fear. The other night, these delicious ice cream sandwiches from Trader Joe's, that I remember like a year ago getting for the kids and being like, oh my gosh, X amount of calories and this and sugar and blah, blah. The other night, I wanted a little bit. I had like 3 bites and I was like, okay, that was good. I'm like full. Like I could have had the whole thing or even full half, but I'm like, it took me like 2 days. I ate half of it. And then my husband ate the rest. I'm like, I'm like, who is this? Who takes 3 bites because that's what I want, not because I'm like, I
Yeah.
can only have 3 bites and moves on. I think
Yeah.
I had like that and like a little, like a spoonful of almond butter before bed. And I was like, that's my dessert. But then, and also like, I don't even need dessert all the time anymore. Like I used to look forward, like kids are in bed, like I want my snack in bed and I would limit what it was, or like then feel guilty. Like, did you have a good day? Oh, did you eat too much of that? How many bowls of that? And now it's like, oh, we ate dinner and like I'm really so full, I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
don't need something.
And that's again out of pure self-love. Like you can have a snack, like you can have the ice cream, but you're just like, how's this gonna make me feel? Maybe like I'm full from dinner. Like I don't need it. But again, tomorrow, if I want something, I absolutely can. And that's really like your mindset behind it. It's not out of restriction, it's purely out of self-love. And that is just, it's like the greatest feeling because you're in the driver's seat. You're in control. It's not like, oh shoot, the ice cream's in the house. Like I have to eat it. It's just like, do I want this? Does it sound good? I remember even us talking about like what sounds good versus like what do I need to eat or what should I eat? And that was also a big shift for you as well too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I will say, like, those thoughts are still, and I asked you, is this normal? I'm still thinking about food a lot. Those thoughts creep in, but in one of your modules, it's like, think of the thought just passing by. And so the thoughts will come in, and I'm like, no, that's not accurate, that you can't have this food with that food. And it's kind of funny because like removing the rules, it's like I might have like a cookie in the middle of the day, whereas I was always waiting till the end of the night. And
Yes.
that's when it would be like could turn into a binge.
Yep.
Um, or like the other night I ate half a turkey burger for dinner because I was like, oh, this is really filling. Put it in the fridge. And then kid you not, 9:30 in the morning, I was like starving and craving protein and meat. And I literally was like, that turkey burger sounds good. And guess what? Who the heck cares if I want to have it at 9:30 in the morning? Because it's like it's it's not lunchtime or whatever. It's so freeing, like,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh, that just makes me so happy. Like that's empowerment. That is you in the driver's seat. That is you being so confident and owning your choices and just listening to your body. Like this was what sounds good. I don't care if it's 9:30 in the morning. Like this is what I want. And you just honor it. And that's why you're not even having binges because you're just listening, like literally truly listening to your body, which is so amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I just like, you're literally so incredible. I was so excited when you messaged me saying, like, my husband and I are like, we're ready. Like, I'm ready to do this. And I was like, oh my God, I just know you're going to go so far. And this is just the start. Like, it's been 1 month. You still got 3 months to go. And I'm just so excited for you. You're going to have your baby in like 4 weeks. Like, you're almost there. And you're just going to be an even more incredible mom, just leading by example truly and showing what a healthy relationship with food looks like. And that's the greatest gift you can give yourself and your family. So I'm so proud of you.
For sure. Thank you. I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so before we wrap up, is there any like last minute things you want to share to like anyone who might be listening and like they're wanting to either join the academy or heal their relationship with food? And is there any advice or anything you want to share with them?
I would just say, I'm sure a lot of people out there, who are at this point and have a binge eating issue. It's you're probably skeptical because you've probably tried a lot of things. Um, and I was too, and that's why it took me a little bit. I mean, I wish I would have just gone all in like in December, but I am where I'm at and it worked out great. Um, but this is the real deal, and you're not going to find this like with a therapist, with a nutritionist. And it's just life changing. And it's not even just, you will realize what a prison you were in your mind when this freedom comes along. And you, like, I am finding so much more joy. Like, in my mind, I was like, I love my kids, but like, why am I have a beautiful life and a great relationship with my husband, and I should be happy, and I'm happy a lot at times. I'm like, why do I go through bouts of depression? And everyone's different.
Yep.
But for me, this was it. And I am joyous now. I feel like I am patient. I'm kind with my kids. And so what I'm saying is this can help you in other areas of your life. Whether it's your career, whatever it is, like, and Lorna's living proof. I mean, you are the example, and you're the example that you can have. I was scared about, can I have health and fitness goals? Yes. Lorna is the proof. And I am feeling that already. I already physically can feel a difference in my body
Oh my God. I'm
in,
like
in
getting
five
so,
weeks.
I love
So
it.
it is literally, and it's like my husband teases me. He's like, oh, Lorna changed your life. He'll joke with me. I'm like, seriously, like, I can tell he sees a different person. My family has already in 5 weeks that they've seen a different person. So I just can't wait. I mean, hey, we're not perfect. I'm not perfect with my kids. I never will be, but I'm just excited that like if this is the progress I've already made, I have no doubt. Like I truly feel like I'm going to be healed, and I'm literally like just I'm on this healing journey, and I already feel healed. I know, like
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't say, and I'm like obsessed with promoting this. So please change your life.
I love it so much. You're just living proof and you just like you're just leading by example. You're doing this for yourself. And honestly, you just coming on this podcast, you're going to give so many women listening to this hope excitement that it's actually possible for them as well too. And so I thank you for coming on and sharing. I know it's not easy always talking about this, but I just
Yeah.
love how open you are and how vulnerable you are, because you're changing your life and so many other women are going to change their life as well too. So thank you, thank
Yes.
you, thank you.
Of course, if I could help anyone get out of this pain, because it's painful.
Yeah.
It is so painful.
Yeah. And there's joy on the other side.
There is joy on the other side.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, truly from the bottom of my heart, for coming on, sharing your story, sharing what's been like really supportive for you. I can't wait to like go back and like re-listen to this, because there's just so many golden nuggets. So thank you so much. Enjoy your date night with your husband. Like,
Thank
have
you.
the time of your life.
I'm so excited, and I will say we haven't decided where we're going. I don't care. I haven't looked at the menu, and we'll see what we have a taste for. So
Okay.
I'm
So
excited.
good. I love it. Enjoy and keep me posted in Slack. Okay.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
Take care.